Hey everybody, this is Matt Bass. Many of you know me from social media through Facebook or LinkedIn or one of the other platforms. And I wanted to do an update to the Certified Fire Protection Specialist certification through NFPA. I was trying to put off very quickly that NFPA doesn't pay for me to endorse this or to push this out. I just like to do it to help people who would like to go after a certification that is pretty difficult to obtain because of the vast knowledge that is put into the handbooks that for the fire protection handbooks. But really, I like to push it because I like to help people go to the next level if they so choose, and also show the worth that the CFPS can offer if you go for it. A lot of people ask me very often. It's usually the first question is, how much money can I get from passing the CFPS exam? And I said, well, not all of us do it just for the money. For me personally, I did it in the very beginning just because I wanted that next challenge in my fire protection career. I really didn't have the path of going towards an FPE for a fire protection engineering degree. So this was like the next hardest challenge I could do without getting an actual degree from University of Maryland or OSU. So I wanted to also showcase to others, the path I took, the reason I did it, and obviously to educate you on the website that anybody can go to. I'm no expert at NFPA websites. I just go to the website and click on all the links and see what it does, and I read up on it, and so I can hopefully help others. But any of you can do the same thing. And you know, I was getting asked again about why go for the CFPS, and for me, it was just the challenge. It's a very hard exam because the fire protection handbooks cover pretty much every aspect of fire protection, not just ITM or sprinkler like we're used to with NICET exams. It covers everything, and which is really everything under the sun for fire protection. So it's a lot of material, and why any of the practice you would have for the CFPS is really not memorization of the content because there's just too much in the two volumes. It's really how fast you can take a question, read it, understand what is the key word or phrase, use the index in the handbooks to help narrow down to the chapter to hopefully find the answer. So that's really what the CFPS is about. It's no different than NICET because NICET's the same thing. None of us can memorize all of our codes and standards in our NFPA 25 or 72. It's how fast can you, if you're posed a question, can you find the answer? So the CFPS is very difficult. It's a 3-hour exam, 100 questions, open book. People say it's an open book. Yeah, go get a copy of the Fire Protection Handbook. I think it's the 21st edition. And I'm pretty sure I think they weigh about 50 pounds. They're pretty heavy. A lot of material that's in there. So again, the exam is pretty difficult because again, I think what makes it the most difficult for people is because you're reading a question on fire protection items that you probably have no knowledge, experience, haven't touched it, haven't seen it. And so, usually, there's some kind of recall when you read a question. Like for me, if I read a question on dry systems, I can pull up an answer or a visual in my head from a dry system I either installed, serviced, or maintained pretty quickly, and so I usually have that experience. That's probably the biggest thing for the CFPS that makes it so difficult is you're reading a question on something you have no recall to know about, and now you're being asked to find the answer quickly and not waste too much time. So that's probably what makes the CFPS the hardest. And again, for a lot of us, we go for it because it's just a challenging exam. It looks good on my resume. It looks good on my emails. And people always ask, why'd you go for it? And I said, I know getting the CFPS, I was not going to make money from it directly right away. But I can tell you for a fact that you put it on your resume. I have the experience. I have the NICET. I even went back and got my business degree from college, and I have the CFPS. So there's quite a bit of things I can put as my background in fire protection. And it definitely has helped, I think, get me at least a seat at the table to interview for positions. It probably didn't get me the actual position just because of the CFPS. It was probably all of the combination of my experiences and other certifications and backgrounds, but it definitely did help probably open a few doors. I can tell you that for a fact. But quickly, for the CFPS website, again, anybody can go here, but I kind of want to go over a few items real quick. Is that it tells you basically here, CFPS exam, who's it for, how to retest and recertify, reference materials. This is stuff that everyone who wants to learn about the CFPS, I recommend you just go to the website like I have, click on everything and just read it. It gives you so much help, and NFPA has done such a really good job of trying to really prepare you to take this very difficult exam. Obviously, here you can see it's the 21st edition of the Fire Protection Handbook. Right now, the price is about $750, for the handbook. Probably brand new. You may be able to find it sometime, hopefully in the near future, maybe a used version that's maybe a little bit less. But you're going to have those books for the exam. Right here it talks about the CFPS. It gives you some good information here that can help you. And probably one of the biggest questions I get asked is, who can qualify for the exam? And right here is the eligibility criteria. I would say a majority of the people that I know are probably not going to meet the first two, because the first two requirements are usually some kind of a degree. The third one here, one for high school diploma or equivalent, plus 6 years of verifiable work experience dedicated to fire laws, both physical and financial. That's what most of us are going to probably qualify for. Hopefully there are some people with good degrees that are going to take the CFPS, but, most of us it's just going to be the 6 years of verifiable work experience in fire protection to some degree. So that's really what gets us the eligibility to sit down for the exam. So I would encourage anybody who is looking for that next challenge. If you have a lot of your NICET certifications and you want to go for a challenge that can help you. And again, it didn't give me instant monetary gains, but it did definitely over time, because I got recognition, which was great. I got, again, it got me seats, at least to interview. Definitely, I'm sure, plus with all my other, credentials I could put onto there. But also, again, it just looks good. To say you're only 2,000 of something in the United States is pretty, I'm pretty proud of myself for going after it, and I'm glad I took the initiative to do it. And that's why I've pushed many out there to go do it for themselves as well. And to this day, I think I have helped push probably, almost 30 people have come to me and said, because I watched your video, or what people I've talked to. I've met a gentleman at NFPA this past year in Orlando that he took it, passed it, and he just wanted to thank me. And it was the first time we got to meet. So I'm glad I've been able to help provide that knowledge and hopefully push to show you that, hey, if this Face for Radio person can pass it, so can you. And again, probably one of the biggest things I try to show people again is that how much information that NFPA has provided to you. And one of the biggest ones is if you actually download the whole booklet they give you, just like in NICET, they actually give you the content outline that shows you by percentage what is going to be on the exam. So right here it tells you fire suppression is going to take 22% of the exam. Safety in the building environment is going to be 16. Just like the NICET, you don't have to get a perfect score on this. It's about the same thing. You have about 70% to pass. So if you can really hone your skills on these big percentage items, that's going to help you pass the exam. It's no different than NICET. The strategy that we would use for a NICET exam is the same thing. So attack these ones, learn these, and you probably will do very good on the exam. NFPA and CFPS actually have a practice exam that you can actually, take. Right here, it even talks about it's a 100-question practice exam, and I believe they give you about a year's time to go after it. So here I'll click on Learn More, again, just like anybody else could. So for $96, you can get all of this helpful information about the practice exam, questions, which that's really what most of the prep classes teach you, is just they give you a bunch of sample questions. You try to learn how fast you can, read them, find the keyword or phrase, and look it up in the index of the handbooks to find, which chapter then to go to and to find the answer. So for $96, and $86.40 for members, this is a no-brainer. I would get this in 2 seconds. So again, if anybody has any questions on the CFPS, I wanted to just do this quick update because, NFPA has done a really good job of updating everything. They, again, you have the 21st edition of the handbook. And again, if you're looking for that next big drive and, to push yourself, then I would 100% go after the Certified Fire Protection Specialist through NFPA. And like always, if anybody has any questions, reach out to me. I think most people that will tell you I'm very quick for responses. I'm very open and try to be very helpful. Because again, I would like to go look back and say I've helped a lot of people. It does make me feel good. Because obviously I'm not going to be an actor with this Face for Radio. So whatever I can do to help others do well is what I really look forward to. So again, if you have any questions, just please reach out.